Everybody, welcome to this episode of Think Business Live. Looking forward to talking with Marisa Murgatroyd. Marisa, it's great to connect with you. You're the founder of Live Your Message and creator of the Experience Formula, and you work with people to grow their online businesses. I love this topic, and I'm looking forward to diving in. And I think this is a very popular topic and a topic that people want to learn more about and don't necessarily know what kind of step one is. And so I'd love to start there. What is step one, right? I have an idea, I have a business, I have a concept, I have something to teach, I'm a guide, I want to help other people. What's step one for creating an online course?
100%. So step one is different if you've never sold anything before or if you have sold something before. So I always like to say, if you've never had experience selling your knowledge and expertise, the first step before creating a course is to try out what you know on a few people one-on-one. So you can get that experience, you can kind of develop a sense of whether people are going to pay you for it and what it's like to facilitate transformation from them. But once you have that, then step one is to develop what I would call a minimum viable product. So a lot of people go and create this course where they spend months or even years recording every video, scripting, slides, worksheets, you name it, putting everything up on a membership site, and then they go and launch, and they may have missed the market. And what happens is they don't see the sales that they want to, or what people want to pay for is a little bit different than what they thought people would need. And so I always recommend kind of an earn while you learn approach of starting with something simpler, the simplest possible format of whatever it is that you do, selling it, delivering it, getting input and feedback. And that's going to help you collaborate with your clients, your students, to make the best possible version of your course. And I actually have this I kind of share this minimum viable product graphic here, where a lot of times if people want to build this jet plane, at the end of the day, they build it one piece at a time. But then at the end, they don't know if that's going to fly, right? But if you try the minimum viable product where you simplify your core solution and ask, well, what's the simplest possible version to test this idea, whether people are going to buy it? And then once you deliver that, just get increasingly more complex and sophisticated until you've got that jet plane version. And if you look in the world of tech, a lot of tech companies do that, like Airbnb. Do you know how they tested the concept of Airbnb before getting all of the funding and rolling it out globally? Do you know that story?
No, I don't.
Well, the two founders actually were art school grads, and they noticed that they were living in San Francisco. They were kind of broke and it was hard to afford their apartment. They noticed that all of the hotel rooms were booked out for an industrial design conference. And they decided to just buy a couple air mattresses, put them on the ground and see if people would rent rooms in their house during the conference, which is how they called it Airbnb, an air mattress and breakfast.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. And so they ended up selling, I think, 3 spots in their house for the entire event. And they made, let's say $100 a night from each person for 3 nights. They made about $1,000. And then they decided to go to other people's houses just in San Francisco, and they expanded to other cities from there. But the concept, the core solution they needed to test is, would someone buy a room in someone else's house, rent a room in someone else's house that they didn't know? And they could test that with just their one apartment and during this one event in one city.
That's amazing. I didn't know that story. I love that story. Let's talk about something that you mentioned, which is, people will pay for. I think one of the things that seems sometimes to hold people back is there's so much free information out there. I mean, YouTube and all social media, there's so much free, what will people pay for? And B, what is the price point? I think I talk to a lot of people. I mean, I'm a business coach, and in my business coaching business, I do sell a couple online courses, but the majority of my work is one-on-one coaching, group coaching, keynotes, trainings, et cetera, et cetera. But I do have another company, Launch 3, which maybe we'll talk about later. But I do find that is something that's very difficult for people, getting that exact price.
Yeah, well, before price comes value proposition. And I think there's a kind of misconception that courses are information dumps. And the truth is that people don't pay for information, they pay for transformation. So the old way of approaching courses is to just package all of your knowledge and information and show someone, okay, this is what you need to know about this particular topic. But the truth is, with all the free information in the world on Google and YouTube and ChatGPT, that's not what people are paying for. They're paying for a facilitated strategic process to a particular result and how to do it in the simplest, easiest way possible for their unique situation. And so, if you look at it, like we have all the information in the world to do anything we could possibly want in our lives. And yet we don't have the lives that we want. We don't have the relationships we want. We don't have the finances we want. We don't have the bodies we want. And the reason is because information alone does not change our lives. So what actually does? So for me, courses are about helping people get a particular result or, improve their skills, performance enhancement, whatever it happens to be. And so if you look at the format of a course, the programs can take so many different forms. So it's first about the actual form, then what do people need to achieve that result? And in terms of how much they pay, it depends on the value of the result itself. Does that make sense? You can do courses on baking bread that maybe people will pay like $5 for, and you can do a course on creating your own profitable bakery, launching your own profitable bakery from the ground up that you could sell for $5,000. So it depends on the value of the transformation and how proven the process to get the result actually is.
Yeah, I love it. Let's talk about this building an online course, everything that you're talking about, the value prop, all the pieces that go into it. It is not an easy thing to do. Even if you're doing something every day, I don't think it's an easy thing for you to extract, for people to extract how to actually then turn it in, rewind and reverse engineer it into an online course. And so how do you work with people to not only extract their knowledge, but help them create the course and then launch it?
Yeah, 100%. So I, of course, have developed a system over many, many years of facilitating this process for over 18,000 students. And, it does start with the idea, right? I've got this little, what I call flight plan. It starts with the idea and really getting that profitable idea, then turning it into an offer. It's always backwards, so I have to remember trying to figure out where I'm pointing. Turning it into an offer, because an offer is not the same thing as an idea. An offer is what people are actually paying for. Your idea is what you want to deliver, right? But then you have to really kind of fine tune that idea and orient it towards a particular kind of person and get all of your marketing messaging right. And then once you have that, it's time for the MVP launch. And that is where you test the idea and try to get your first sales. And only after that do you go into everything else, which is here. I say more robust marketing campaigns and then more robust delivery. So a lot of people go and start doing ads and funnels and all of this kind of stuff, and they're putting the cart before the horse. So really kind of figuring out, do you have something that's going to fly before building up and scaling the course itself and the marketing itself? And I teach program delivery in a really different way. And actually, how do you create that course? How do you design that course? Because there's a big problem with the majority of traditional online courses. Because they think they're about the information, only 3% of people on average complete a traditional course that's based on just information transfer, right? Information dump. So I teach people how to create instead what I call an experience product. And an experience product, and sorry if there's noise, we've actually got someone doing some drilling outside.
No worries.
I'm not sure if you can hear it or not. Hopefully you can, or just a little bit. But an experience product is different from an information product because it actually uses a lot of brain kind of hacks to get people engaged and hooked on taking action all the way to the finish line of your course. But for people to win, for people to get the promise or outcome, you have to be so specific about what that promise or outcome is. I call that creating your course mission statement. And the mission is exactly what winning looks like, exactly what someone's going to be able to do, be, feel, have, overcome, or achieve by the end of your program. And you want that to be so clear and specific that you could photograph someone crossing the finish line. And when you have that photo finish, it makes that transformation so much more grounded and so much more tangible, and allows you to put usually a higher price tag on it because people can see exactly what they're going to gain from the course. It's not just, oh, I'm curious about this topic, tell me what you know about it. It's, how do I get this particular outcome? In the case of my signature course, how do I design, launch, and profit from an experience product using this methodology in 12 weeks or less? So it's super specific. And because of that, every single, module and every single lesson and every single touch point in the program is designed to get people to that outcome as quickly and easily and as effectively as possible. So it allows you to simplify whatever you're creating and remove a lot of the stuff that, might be interesting to know, but doesn't directly support the outcome.
Yeah. So I've read some studies that 5 to 7% of courses actually get finished. How do you keep the user engaged?
Yeah, so I have this whole formula called the experience formula here, and there's 10 core experiences that you want to attach and really stack and embed throughout your program. We talked about the first one just now, which is the mission. So having this mission accomplished structure is super critical, because if people don't know what winning is going to look like, if it's just about intellectual curiosity, they're not going to keep going. And it's super common. Even masterclass.com, which has these celebrity teachers, they have courses by the name of like Chris Haddad teaches, space exploration or something like that. And like, how do you know when you've won that? Like only less than 1,000 people in human history have ever gone to space. And so that idea of a course is about just sharing your knowledge and information is completely wrong. But once you've got this mission and mission accomplished structure, then you want to break it into wins. So every time someone engages, they're actually getting into an action reward cycle. So they take a little action, they win, they get better, you get the dopamine flooding by rewarding and acknowledging that action. Then they want to take more action, win, and get better. And how you sequence the program is really important. A lot of people sequence programs logically, meaning this is the first step, this is the second step, but that might be dumping your student into the deep end of the pool or the boring end of the pool or whatever the case may be. And they don't get engaged right there from the get-go. And if they're not engaged, they're not going to keep going. So how you structure the course motivationally to start with simpler wins that give people a taste of the process and allows anyone, no matter where they're starting from, to build skills and confidence as they go. So then they can tackle the larger, more difficult elements later on down the line. So they've built enough momentum by the time they get there. So those are just a few, but there's a lot of different techniques.
Yeah, no, that's great. Once you build a course and it's an evergreen course, for example, how much time does it take to maintain? Yes, you want to market it and maintain it. What's the success model of a successful course launch as it continues to kind of live and generate revenue?
Yeah, well, the answer is that it depends. So it depends on where the course fits in your overall business model and what the goal of that course actually is. Also, all courses are not created equally. Some courses are kind of gateway programs. Some courses are given away for free to ascend people into higher ticket back-end offerings. Some kind of are signature programs that become, the core thing that you become known for in the marketplace. Some people are creating an entire kind of product suite that allows people to stay in their world for long periods of time. I mean, I have a whole product suite. And so one course leads into the next, and I've done over 50 million in online course and program sales because I've built a whole ecosystem that can take someone from just thinking about having a business all the way to having $1 million business. So the answer is, it depends on the overarching business model and what kind of course we're talking about and where that course fits into your overall product suite. And so, how you choose to market that also, where your platform is. Do you work with affiliates or partners? Are you a YouTube creator? Are you into paid ads? Do you do speaking engagements? Do you have a book? Are you an author? And are you sending people into the course on the back of the book? So there's so many business models and there's so many marketing models when it comes to courses, based on what you want to achieve and the size and scale of business that you want to have too. And also what sort of results you want to deliver to your potential people. So I would argue that most courses that I help people create aren't just set it and forget it home study programs, unless they're really low ticket, like sub $100 programs. But when you start to get to $500 to $5,000 or even more for a program, people expect higher touch and they expect, a more supported environment where there is accountability, there is feedback, there is community. So there's a lot of different ways to do a course that would change the delivery model as well.
Can you give us an example of somebody you've helped that has come to you with a business idea, has the knowledge, no experience, and how you worked with them to, build a 7-figure business?
Yeah, sure. So, there's several people in that particular situation. One couple that I worked with is Davina and Galen Dietrich. So they were a couple of dentists, and they had, successful six-figure dentist practices. And they had also pioneered a particular form of boutique dentistry, which was a direct resin veneer smile transformation. So that allowed them to take one client per week that would replace the income that most people would take 40 to 50 clients or patients to be able to do. And so they came to me and they created a course teaching people how to do this particular technique and then earn their course investment back just like that. So they modeled it really closely off of my program. So they ended up teaching other dentists how to do this particular form of dentistry and kind of market it as well. So within 12 weeks of that course, they didn't even have an audience. They were able to do $47,000 in sales through other dentist networks and then partnering with dentistry organizations. And then by the end of the first year, it was like over 200,000. Then they started developing other courses for dentists and to help them with their business. And they took that across the $1 million mark. So first of all, getting the first one dialed in, making sure it was really clear about the result, making sure the way they designed it could effectively deliver that result, then finding how are they going to kind of continue to market it out and the partnerships they had. And then what comes next after someone completes this first course, what do they do next?
It's amazing. I love that. I love that. What's an investment somebody should be thinking about, if you don't have to answer this question, range to get started in one of your programs?
Yeah, so my signature course, Experience Product Masterclass, that helps people design, launch, and profit from an Experience Product Masterclass with coach access, weekly group coaching calls, unlimited milestone reviews, and email support. See, this is what I mean by helping someone get the transformation is $24.97 is the investment. So $2,497 or 6 installments of $497. And the reason why we support most of our courses is that even if I tell someone exactly how to do something and say it's a piece of messaging, it's a piece of marketing, a lot of times when someone starts to try to do that for themselves, they don't have the perspective to know if whether what they're creating is, effective and whether it's targeted enough, whether they found that message market match. So having a professional who does this over and over again and helps people do it allows them to bypass a lot of the usual trial and error. So even if you have a roadmap, you can still make a lot of mistakes. Even if you've got the tools that we give, the resources, the templates, if people are brand new to this, they don't have that perspective. They can't tell if what they're creating is going to work or not. So we support a lot of our courses, which is why we get insane student success results. So that particular program, we had a cohort that just finished, a cohort of about 650 students, and we had 62% complete the course. Or hit one of their goals, which is sales goals as well. So that's over 20 times the industry average student success and completion using all of these techniques. And because of that, I actually have metrics of the higher their success in the program. Like if people hit what I call goal X, which is earning more than their investment back, they're more than 20% likely to reinvest in me at a 5X price point, at a $15,000 to $25,000 price point.
It's amazing. That's amazing. It's there's so much opportunity. I think online learning is only getting bigger and bigger, and so many opportunities for so many people to share their knowledge with the world. I think what you're doing is great, helping people figure out the map to get it done. Let's do a quick speed round. Book that's had a big impact on you.
Book that's had a big impact. Right now, I just read The Experience Economy. And it's all about how we're shifting from the overarching economic model, how we shifted from just raw kind of assets into, basically service into basically commodity businesses. There was agriculture, then there was commodity, then there was services. Now we're in then information, and now we're in an experience economy. And it's super fascinating because you'll see as AI allows so many more people to create and deliver the same kinds of products and services and information, what is it that truly differentiates you? It's all of the stuff that I'm talking about, which is why I help people create experience products.
Yeah. Well, and I love your name. The name of my company is the Jon Dwoskin Experience. So I feel the same way. Creating an experience for somebody is so important, more so than ever before. Piece of wisdom, best piece of wisdom you've ever received.
All right. So the energy of a blockbuster hit product is exponential for your business. So a lot of people crank out just a lot of low level $50, $100, $200, $300 throwaway courses versus doubling down on the frameworks and the body of work that's actually going to make you well known and respected in the market, and then going all in on that. And also continuing to just fine tune and elevate whatever that happens to be, both from a standpoint of marketing and delivery, until it's truly, truly world class. So you're not trying to compete on so much. You've really got this clear value proposition that you're known for and can do better or differently than anybody else.
It's great. It's great. Finish your sentence. One thing everybody should do if they're hesitant to package their knowledge and start an online course is?
To make the shift from you to who it is that you're there to serve. Zig Ziglar famously said that you can have everything you want in life if you'll just help enough other people get what they want. And a lot of times we're so busy thinking about all the I can't do this, or this is too hard, or what if people don't trust me, or whatever it happens to be, versus, wow, there's someone out there who really needs X, whatever that solution is, whatever that problem you solve. And you've got that solution. You can solve that problem. Focus on them instead of you. And when you make that switch from focusing on your own inner dialogue and doubts and questions and challenges to the people you're there to serve, it's going to really power you to just make it happen, because you realize that you're sitting on so much value.
Yeah, it's great. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to connect with everybody. Tell everybody who your ideal clients are and how they can connect with you, Marisa.
100%. So I work with coaches, service providers, and experts who have something that they want to share and truly care about sharing it in a way that's actually going to make a difference and transform the people's lives that they serve. So someone who wants to grow their business with some kind of online course or program, it doesn't have to be one of those set it or forget it courses, but it could be group coaching programs. It could be masterminds. It could be certifications. There are so many different kinds of experience products. There are 21 different kinds. You can even apply the methodology to coaching, consulting, service delivery, and it works. If you have something where you need to get people to do something that's challenging or difficult or hard, and you hit resistance along the way, and you want to figure out how to bypass that resistance to drive radically more customer success, then I'm your person.
It's great. This was great. I love this podcast because I get to talk to people who are in alignment with my mission to get people unstuck. And this was a great talk. I want to just echo, you said many great things, but I want to just echo one thing in particular, which is Think Community. Today we talked about knowing your value and that you could be sitting on a ton of value. And so, take a moment and think about, what that value is. And if you can't figure it out, you can reach out to myself, jondwoskin.com, or liveyourmessage.com if you want to start an online course. I do one-on-one coaching and group and keynotes and trainings, but Marisa does online courses. So this is great. Thank you.
100%. And I do have a guide, a dopamine button guide about all of these brain hacks and psychological techniques. So if you want that specifically, you can go to liveyourmessage.com/think business, all one word, liveyourmessage.com/think business, and just get that PDF. And it will also get you into kind of my world. And I've got some free trainings and workshops as well.
Great. I'm looking at it right now. This was great. All right. This was great. Thank you so much for taking time. I loved our conversation. Think Community. Thank you. Thanks, Marisa. Appreciate it. That was great.
You're welcome. Take care.